founder of Ragingbull.com. Our featured speaker teaches stock trading and streams his real money portfolio during market hours with returns of 239% and $239,143.43 for 2017 year to date, and over 330% and over $330,000 in 2016. He has trained over 10,000 paying clients, traded live head-to-head against the world champion in New York City's Times Square, has been featured in Forbes, Investing.com, The Street, and on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Please welcome Jason Bond. Harvard, yeah, let me hear it. All right, seriously, louder than that, let me hear it. All right, so first and foremost, Harvard Business School, thank you so much for having me here, tell my story, how I went from an elementary school teacher teaching physical education to little kids with $250,000 in debt. My wife was also a teacher with her master's, and we were just burdened by this debt, to just 5 years later, building a $30 million company, teaching people to trade stocks, something I knew nothing about, and how that has transformed my life. So let's rewind a little. See if you can fill in the blank. Yeah, but with more energy, man. Yeah. So from 2001 to 2011, that was my life. I went to college, I did what I was told, I was the first in my family to do so, and I paid for it myself. My wife did the same. We were burdened with student loans, and I spent my days teaching kids how to move. I'm guessing you can figure it out by now. I was a physical education teacher, and I coached a lot of sports. These kids came into the gym, and I just transformed that energy into them, and we had a great time. But after 8 years, I watched this show on television, Dave Ramsey. Who's heard of him? All right, so Fox Business, I'm watching, and he says, credit cards are bad, student loans are bad, mortgages are bad. And I just recently done my taxes in April, and I saw it for the first time ever. I didn't know what it was. Quicken came with this tax return, so I punched it in and took all my numbers, and net worth, what is net worth? Minus 250,000 or so. Wait a second. So I'm roughly 33 years old at the time. I've seen this Dave Ramsey thing, and I'm thinking, goodness gracious, I have to do something about that. So I thought it might be a scam. I subscribed to the Dave Ramsey stuff. My wife and I basically offloaded all of our debt. We did what he said, little credit card to the biggest debt. When we got to our house, which was only a small ranch for $100,000, something two teachers who paid for their master's degrees can do, we decided to sell it and go into a small apartment. So we got to zero. When I got to zero, what's the first thing I did? Bigger house. We can afford a $300,000 house now, you know? So anyways, we fell into that trap. It was at that moment that I realized I needed to transition. I needed to transform. I couldn't go back to teaching. I rolled over one morning. I looked at my wife and I said, Pam, I would like to do something else. I don't know what it is, but this just isn't going to work. We're never going to be out of debt this way. We'll fall back into the same trap. She said, go for it. So I learned how to trade stocks. This was something, surprisingly, from a former physical education degree, so far away from what I knew, it was unbelievable, but I was good at it. I'm a great teacher, and I have a lot of energy. I took that to the world. I now have clients in over 70 countries. In the last 5 years, I left teaching in 2011, so I guess it's 6 years now. My company is worth $30 million. I'm a multimillionaire. I have zero debt. I don't owe anybody anything. I have a credit score of nothing. It doesn't go to zero. It evaporates. And I love what I do. Probably my biggest success so far was taking another UCLA graduate. Well, I didn't go to UCLA, but he did. A UCLA graduate who was burdened with $80,000 in student loans. And he signed up for my service. My service is fairly expensive. It's $5,000 a year. Some would look at that at the age of 24 and never do it. He signed up for my service. He has turned fully audited $15,000 into just shy of $3 million. He's 27 years old. We gave him a brand new Porsche as a reward for his success. And that is how I landed on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange being interviewed with my business partner and co-owner, Jeff Bishop, who's here today. Jeff, can you raise your hand? I couldn't have done it without him. So that's my story. And to sum it up for you, I loved being an elementary school teacher. I don't think that I would have left teaching kids and coaching sports if it weren't for seeing Dave Ramsey on TV that one day, looking at my wife, and she's saying, yes, I might like a bigger diamond ring than the one you bought on your teaching salary. And breaking out into the world, it was scary, it was hard, but it's the best thing that I've ever done. And while every day I struggle to stay on top because it is an eat what you kill business, I like that fight. I liked it when I was a teacher, and I like it in business. And Harvard Business School, thank you for letting me share it with you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Jason Bob.